Welcome back to the topic Principles of Inheritance and Variation. In the last class, which was online class with MS Teams, we discussed dihybrid cross and dihybrid test cross. Whereas today, let's try to understand the reasons for unrecognition of Mendel's work and important concept chromosomal theory of inheritance. Let's begin with reasons for the unrecognition of Mendel's work. Though Mendel successfully explained laws and principles of the genetics during 1850s only, but Mendel's work went unnoticed during his period. After his death, he was awarded with the title of Father of Genetics. Let's try to understand what is the reason for unrecognition of the Mendel's work. The first reason is lack of communication. During Mendel's period, there were no system of communications were there, or I can say very less communication systems were there, and because of which he was not able to publicize his work beyond his territory. Today we are with a number of communication systems, so easily we communicate with the people, but during that era it was difficult. So that becomes the first reason for the unrecognition of his work. The second concept is he was explaining gene but without the knowledge of the chromosome and DNA. Chromosomes and DNA were discovered and their structure and functional details were confirmed somewhere in 1950s, but a century ago only, during 1850s, Mendel was trying to explain about a gene without using the term gene. That is, whenever he was observing the nature, he used to say that some factor is responsible for the inheritance of the character, and that factor, what it is, he was not able to explain, as he was not knowing about chromosome and DNA, and because of that his contemporaries, that is his co-workers, were not ready to accept a factor as a character, or a factor as a one which is controlling the phenotypic and genotypic expression of the organism. So that becomes a second reason for the unrecognition of the Mendel's work. Now coming to third reason, Mendel tried to explain his principles and laws by using mathematics. Mendel was a mathematician, a statistics person. If you have studied inheritance of one gene and two gene thoroughly, then you will come to know that it is nothing but probability. Correct? A statistical approach is there in explaining genetics. So people were not ready to merge biology with any of other branches, and it was not accepted by his co-workers. So that becomes a third reason for the unrecognition of the Mendel's work. Now, the last reason is Mendel was not able to give any physical proof for the presence of the factor. So, today, if anyone asks us to give a proof for the existence of the gene, definitely we can say DNA and chromosomal theory, because today we have done a number of experiments with respect to DNA and chromosome, but during Mendel's period, a chromosome and DNA were unknown to word, and if people were asking him to give a proof for the existence of the factor, he was helpless. So because of that, his work went unnoticed. So these are the four reasons which make Mendel's work go in a vain. So this can be asked for 3 marks. Now let us try to understand what happened after the invention of the chromosome. In the year 1902, two scientists by name Walter Sutton and Theodore Boveri were able to explain the structure of the chromosome, and they said that they act as a carrier of the character from one generation to another, and chromosomes contain in them a genetic material, that is DNA. So, after the explanation of the concept of the chromosome, Theodore Boveri tried to even study Mendelian genetics. Okay, so by the time 1910, details of the mitosis and meiosis were studied. We were able to explain how the diploidy is converted into haploidy during gamete formation. We also were able to understand crossing over and recombination of the character. So this is a diagram where two chromosomes are there, one is in blue, one is in orange. So if you study the first diagram, it shows crossing over a chiasmata formation, whereas the second one cross overed chromosome. For all these things, we have experimental proof. So after studying the details of the mitosis, meiosis, and also after studying the structure of the chromosome, Theodore Boveri tried to compare the characters of the chromosome with the characters of the factors which were used by the Mendel. And according to Theodore Boveri, chromosome and factors were showing same characters. Like, let's make two column, chromosome and a gene. If you see chromosome always occur in a pair. Yes, we know, we have experimental proof for that. Whereas genes also occur in pair. That's why we write always for tall capital T capital T, and for dwarf small t. So genes also occur in pair, whereas chromosomes segregate during gamete formation. That if you have studied meiosis thoroughly, you will be knowing that chromosomes segregate during the formation of the gamete. Even the genes segregate during the gamete formation. Chromosomes assort and segregate independent from each other. Even genes behave same. So the same characters of chromosome and genes forced Theodore Boveri to explain a different concept which is called chromosomal theory of inheritance. And the chromosomal theory of inheritance explains that behavior of chromosome is parallel to the behavior of the gene. Okay, and hence Theodore Boveri proposed a theory which states that genes are located at specific loci of homologous chromosome, and it is a chromosome which gets segregated and assort independently. According to Mendel, it is a gene which gets segregated and assorted independently. But today we know that genes are the part of DNA, and DNA is present inside the chromosome. So if we say that a gene is segregated, a gene is assorted, then it is not alone a gene, it is a chromosome. So that theory is called as chromosomal theory of inheritance. But what made Mendel to believe that genes get segregated and assort independently? Because whatever 7 characters were selected by the Mendel for his experiment, like height of the stem, position of the flower, so on, all those 7 characters were present on the 7 different chromosomes. So he was very lucky because he did not observe any recombination, whereas after the invention of the chromosome we could study recombination. Clear? So now we'll try to understand that we have few chromosomes, but one chromosome itself will have a many genes. Okay, and all these genes which are present on the chromosome can be linked. What is the meaning? The genes always try to get inherited together. They will not get separate from each other. For example, dihybrid cross or inheritance of two genes. There we crossed round yellow with a wrinkled green. But during the gamete formation, round yellow parental type, wrinkled green parental type tried to get inherit in the gamete together. So that capacity is called as a linkage, which we will be discussing in further modules. Now the genes can be recombined. So as we just now studied, chromosomes can undergo crossing over, and during crossing over equal exchange of the chromatids will get exchanged, and that results in what? Recombination. So after studying the details of mitosis, meiosis, after studying the structure of the chromosome, we came to know that genes, that is a factor according to Mendel, are the part of DNA, and DNA is present inside the chromosome, and genes which are there on the chromosome undergo interaction. Correct? So if we apply all these things to the law of independent assortment, law of independent assortment will not hold good for all the examples. There are few examples where the segregation and law of independent assortment will not be obeying. Such examples we are going to study in the next slide. After rediscovery of the chromosome, it became important to classify the genetics into two categories as Mendelian genetics and post Mendelian genetics. So if we study that is a classical branch, that is whatever principles and laws are proposed by Mendel, then that forms Mendelian genetics. But as I said just now, genes can undergo interaction. So there are few examples where the laws and principles proposed by Mendel will not obey, and such examples if we study, then that is called as post Mendelian genetics. Okay, so with this we understood that genes undergo interaction, they interact, and interactions are classified into two types. The first one is called intragenic interaction. It can be also called as interallelic. It is a type of interaction which occurs between alleles of the same gene. Okay, you can see the diagram. Between the alleles of a same gene, if there is interaction, then it is called intragenic. Whereas it can be another type, intergenic, that means non-allelic. That is, here the genes present on the same or a different chromosome can interact. Okay, so this is about interaction of the gene, which is a complete deviation from the Mendelian genetics. Okay, just now we understood the meaning of intragenic interaction and intergenic interaction. Intragenic interaction, we are going to study three examples. One is incomplete dominance, second codominance, and the last multiple allelism. Whereas in intergenic interaction, two examples we are going to discuss, they are pleiotropy and polygenic inheritance. Okay, so in this module we discussed chromosomal theory of inheritance, whereas in the next module we'll start up with intragenic interaction. In that, the first example will be incomplete dominance. Thank you, students.